Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today we've got a cracker because I have all of these gorgeous 6x6 inch pieces of patterned paper. Now, how this came about is I was admiring the work of a card that was sent me by a beautiful friend of mine. Her name is Jocelyn, and she lives in the North Island. I live in the South Island of New Zealand, and she said, hold on up, I'll send you some extras I have. So she sent me a bundle, and these are just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now these of course come from many different collections. These silver ones were catching my eye, absolutely catching my eye. But I was thinking, what happens when you've got, a whole lot of beautiful papers here? They are not necessarily, I think she's probably included, a couple from different, 2, 3, 4 from a set, and then the rest, and then from another set, and then a few from another set. And so you don't have, a whole paper pad of matching colors, and it's not as easy to pop them all together. So what do? We create. Now these cards are going to be beautiful and easy cards to put together. Honestly, this is pretty much going to be like 3 supplies. Really, you're going to need some patterned paper and a stamp, and then obviously cardstock to do it on. So really, really simple, like 3 ingredient card making, very, very simple to pop together. And I'm just having a good flick through these, having a look, see what catches my eye, see if there's any that are really standing out. Already I am having a little problem because yes, there are lots that are standing out, and yes, that means that I'm going to want to not use them. But I'm getting better at that and working through that, and also that can usually mean that I will put them aside and pop them into a particular project, like a special project. So just looking at these, I was trying to pick out like a few, 3 or so that I think could go together. Now these don't have to be the same pattern, and they don't necessarily have to be the same colors. Really, it just comes down to, if I sit them together, do I like the look of it? What I decided to do was get my card base color sorted first. For the very first one, this is going to be the most simple of all 3 of the cards, and this is going to be Emerald Coast by Gina. And then I'm just going to pick 3 cardstocks. Again, these are not from the same paper pad necessarily, but at this point I've played with them so much that I don't know what should go next to each other. So these are just a whole bunch of beautiful, beautiful papers. Now, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do some ripped torn fronts. Here's the difference if you rip towards you or away from you. The one up the top has that white edging to it, whereas the one down the bottom has no white edging. You'll find that if you rip away from you or towards you, you're going to get a different look. Now, of course, this is going to look different on different papers, and it depends what you're after. And if you don't like the torn edge at all, that's okay. You don't have to have it. What I would also suggest is that you could do this with like a border die or an edging die. It might end up looking, have like a lacing edge to it. It might have, like a foliage edge to it. It might just be an edge that creates a stitched detail into it. It doesn't matter what it is. If you don't like the torn look, by all means change it up. So for this one, I'm going to use, this is the LDRS mixed scalloped rectangles. And at this point, what I thought I was going to do is have a sentiment on one of those cutouts, die cuts, but this is all I do, and there's different ways to do it depending on how big your pieces of paper are. I like to do 3 offset at different angles, joined together, and then have it halfway, a third of the way, 2/3 of the way. It doesn't matter. Pop it on your card front, and then all I do is I'm able to turn this over and cut off everything that's left. This does create more scraps, and that just opens up a whole process and lots of opportunities, because you will know that I have a playlist on this channel for scraps. I have so many videos Doesn't matter if they are little rectangles, if they are triangles, if they are strips, if they are random teeny tiny pieces. I have a video for all of the above, so check out the scraps playlist on my channel here. And if you are enjoying my channel, don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, all those things that the algorithm loves. We appreciate it very much. And also, if you really like this, then I also have my website, which is natashafootecreative.com, and I have classes over there. I have a year-long series that I'm working on right now. You get exclusive videos sent all the time, very regularly, and they will not be here on YouTube at all. They are exclusive to the website. Last year, I also did a year-long series where I did the A to Z of the alphabet just for fun. And as I said, I've got a whole new series going on this year. There are also lots of freebie downloads. Don't forget to go and download your free printable sentiment sheets. I have a couple of them there now. If you are a member, you have access to even more of them as well. But if you just want to go and grab them for free, you can print them out and use them as printable sentiments. I also have cut and goes, which if you want to go and have a look what they are also on the website for free, of course. You can download them and print them out, ready to go. But anyhow, I'm moving on to my second one. This one, I'm going to move on to a landscape version. The other one was more so portrait. You can do these in any direction you want at all. I'm going to choose sort of purplish tones, and then I've also got like a white one there to break it up a little bit more in the middle. This is the Wild Wisteria color from Gina Cardstock, and I really like the top of this and I want to include it, so I'm just tearing off the very tippity top of these plants so that I can keep as much of that image as possible. But this is a good one for going through your paper pads. If they match, you have a paper pad and you've got lots of scraps from it, you store them in the front or you store them in a pocket with it, then by all means, this is a great technique for those. I have so many of these beautiful pieces of 6x6 now that I definitely felt I could rip into them and get started on some techniques, even though they weren't scraps at all. So for this one, I decided that I would have a little banner. This is in fact, all of these, I really do apologize. The Pink Fresh one, this one is not available. It's been discontinued. Also, so has I think it's Ribbon Bloom sentiments as well from Creative Expressions. That's also been discontinued, but it doesn't matter. It's just sentiments. You find one in your stash. It is always handy to have a good couple of sentiment sheets that you can rely upon. A nice wide range from happy birthdays and get wells and thinking of yous and with sympathy, all those things, all of the good sentiments. So make sure you've got a good couple of them. And then for this one, as I said, this is going to be landscape, and I'm going to put this a little bit further up. Like this is probably, I don't know, 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up here. And then what I do like to do, and I did it with the previous one as well, I like a little matting layer to break up all of the, purple in this case. And so I am going to cut out a matting layer, and I'll do it in white, given that we've got quite bold colors for the card bases and cardstock. So I think most of them are probably about 3 by 4¼ inches, give or take. And then I do the matting layer usually a fraction bigger, so either about 3 1/8 by 4 3/8 or something along those lines. Honestly, I don't really measure. I just make it a fraction bigger, and if I've cut it too big, then I'll just trim a little bit more off. And so I pop a wee white matting layer on here, and then I can pop it onto my purple or Wild Wisteria card base. And then again, these are all super simple. They just pop them together. You could pop some gemstones on, you could pop some ribbon on, you could add some lace, some fabric layers behind the torn edges. You could do lots more torn edges. You could, I don't know, the world's your oyster. You could do like a ripped torn background piece, like, say brown or greens or something, and then do a little picture or scene with some little hedgehogs or trees, or that gives me lots more ideas. Anyhow, lots of different ways that you can use this technique. Right, for the last one here, I think this was the paper. It was these mushrooms here that I've just flicked past, these ones. This is what I spotted, and she made this most beautiful, she being Jocelyn, my apologies, made this most beautiful scene using this piece of paper, and it was a little bit unexpected, and I was like, how did you think of that? So anyhow, beautiful, and she sent me a beautiful card. Actually, it might have been for one of my children, actually. And And that is just how lucky we are that she sends us these beautiful cards. Anywho, I'm going to include some music paper, some note paper. Now, this was not included. This is just a random a sheet of music paper that I have, and I thought, yeah, that could break up the middle too. We can add that in. I think I would really like that look. So I'm going to include some of that. Now, I think this cardstock here is the Rainforest Simon Says stamp cardstock, I believe. It's a beautiful dark green foresty kind of color. And so in contrast to that, I really like this orange. And so, of course, it is going to be quite bright, but I think it still fits beautifully. And again, you could create a little scene on here. Or what about actually if you were to do like the eclipse technique out of this torn technique? That would be fun. So lots of different options. Oh, that is actually, I can imagine. Anyhow, so really good options. That's how my brain works. I tend to focus on one idea and then I get very sidetracked and have to work hard to finish the video about what I'm already doing. But nonetheless, for this one, I decided because this dark green is fairly dark, I'm actually going to heat emboss a white sentiment on here. I did use an anti-static powder tool just to make sure that these words are going to be clean and crisp. I want them to be nice and clear, and so I like that saying, always cheering you on. So I'm going to pop that on there using some superfine white embossing powder from Ranger. I like the superfine, and I get it whenever possible, whenever there is an option to get the superfine. I really like that one. And then from here, I'm able to pop down all of the different pieces. Now, I did play around with this one. I sort of moved them around, you know, and keep coming back to it. If you think you might want to move them around a little bit more, perhaps you use a glue that gives you a little bit longer wiggle time. For example, this art glitter glue gives very little wiggle time, not much at all. I would use my matte medium from Ranger if I wanted a little bit more wiggle time to figure things out. But nonetheless, you can have a really nice little set here, and I like the inclusion of that music paper. And then anything that you weren't sure of or you just want to tack down, you can add a bit more glue and make sure it's going to stay in place. And then cut down the edges as per usual. You could use a trimmer for this too, but some nice long bladed scissors tend to work fairly well for me. And then again, I've got my matting layer to break up that darker color, and it's going to contrast beautifully and create a nice little frame when it goes down onto the darker card base as well. So lots of different options for such a beautiful, simple technique. And if you do end up giving these a go, I would love to see them. And you can do that over on my Facebook group called Come Crafting with Natasha. And it is the larger group. There's about 18 or 19,000 or so members. We have a decent group, and boy, are they supportive and excited and always cheering each other on. And so that's part of the reason why I love spending time there, having a flick through all the different cards that people create, and that inspires me endlessly as well. So I hope that you come over and join us there. But other than that, here are 3 of the cards that I finished today, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks, bye.